it. Extremely happy to partner with Sipping Thoughts and Lean In Hyderabad for the second session. This is our second session with Sipping Thoughts, and we have the leading ladies for both the groups on the calls. Sukirti, say hi. So Sukirti is the founder of Sipping Thoughts, and we have Uma, who is co-founder of The Star and Me along with me, and also the regional leader for Lean In Hyderabad. And we have Subha, who is today's facilitator, and all of you have joined here for her. But before we start off, maybe we'll take 2 minutes time to tell all of you, because a lot of new names, to say who we are, who is the Star and Me, and then Sukirti would talk about Sipping Thoughts for a minute, and then we will introduce Subha and get started. Um, the Star in Me is a global career advancement, continuous learning, and coaching platform for women professionals. And we are also diversity partner with organizations. As we speak, we in fact did our global launch this year in January 2020. And extremely happy to say, and maybe a lot of you here are part of the Star and Me. We have close to 3,600 members from 44 countries on the Star and Me platform now. And that makes it really exciting, because that's where the knowledge sharing across cultures and across different working styles happen. I will take a minute to talk about what you should look for when you come to the Star and Me. This is the homepage where people keep on posting their knowledge and learnings. There is a section called Groups here, which you might not be able to see. This is where there are focused conversations going on depending on the topic, whether you're an entrepreneur. There's a learning corner. There are a couple of lean in circles on the group. So there's good conversations happening. And the best part about it is when you go inside the group, you will be able to see the members and their profiles, so you're not talking to strangers. There is a section on events where you can go in, like Subha's event is listed here. There are a lot of events coming up, so you can go ahead and register. Not all of them are free. There are paid sessions also. We have come up with something brand new in the last 1 week, which is called Premium Content. Where with a lot of leading coaches across the world, we are launching programs, which we tell it as laboratories, because they are collabs where actually you kind of do working sessions to improve and move your needle from point A to point B. So yes, they will be all paid programs from 3 to 6 months, or we are also launching studios, which are maybe 2 to 3 hours of session on one of few of the most critical topics that will help build leaders of today and tomorrow. Apart from that, you can browse through a lot of past sessions. In fact, this is the one looking for opportunities during COVID, was done with Sipping Thoughts a few weeks back. So some of these recordings are available here for you to just have a look at all the sessions. I will stop sharing. Do check it out and explore the platform. Sukirti, you want to talk about Sipping Thoughts a little bit?
I'm so happy to be here today. So Sipping Thoughts is a multimedia platform company that was co-founded by me and Meeta Gutkutia. It was set up keeping in the mind that we wanted to create a space for women where they could talk about their real thoughts and their ideas and actually be heard. We wanted to create a no judgment platform and a network of women for women, and of course, men that have supported us. We are available on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, our website. So we do a lot of content, which is for like everyday women. We cover issues from parenting all the way to leadership. So kind of covering the 360 degree of information that any woman would want. So very, very happy to be here today and be with the Star in Me.
Thank you, Sukirti. And now all spotlight on Subha. I'll just take a minute to introduce Subha. Maybe some of you who have joined here has already attended her session in some other fora. So Subha is the founder of SLN Brand Studio. She started her own venture after 16 years of her corporate experience in HR. She's also the personal branding strategist, and today she's going to focus only on just one aspect of entire personal branding, which is on resume. She is a CXO resume writer and a corporate trainer. In fact, a lot of women on the Star Me platform have landed up in real great jobs when they really need it. And they did use Subha's services to make over their both LinkedIn and resume. And we did see how they landed up into those dream jobs, and we have this testimonial. So over to you, Subha. I think we all are looking forward to your session.
Thank you, Mahua. Thank you, Sukriti and Uma. Thank you, The Star in Me, Sipping Thoughts and Lean in Hyderabad. This is one awesome opportunity for me to interact with so many awesome women outside, right? I see that people have joined from New Zealand, USA, India, and Netherlands, right? So this is happening because of the collaboration that we are all having here, right? So fight to the collaboration, yeah. So let me quickly share the screen. Then let me take the session forward. Yeah, you're all able to see the screen? Okay, great. Thank you, Mahua, for that awesome introduction. Yes, I'm Subha Lakshmi Narsimhan, founder director of SLN Brand Studio. I am a personal branding strategist, CXO resume writer, and a corporate trainer. Today, I'm going to take you all through a key element of building a personal brand, which is going to help you all in landing the right job, growing sustainably in your career. Yeah. So we are going to demystify the art and science of a power resume. Yeah, that is going to be the masterclass. A quick, boasting on myself. 2019 and 20 has been a great year for me, even though we are all facing certain challenges. Whatever happened in 2019, that has been helping me a lot in sustaining in this tough period. I have won 2 different awards, one from SheThePeople.tv, Digital Women Awards, and then Her Rising Award from Jobs for Her. I have also had an opportunity to present 2 different research papers in 2 different conferences. One is on building vision skill for first year engineering students in India. This happened in ICIREMS in December 2019. This is completely for engineering and MBA students. And then the second paper, which is close to my heart, which is relevant to all of us here. Personal branding and self-marketing strategies for women corporate leaders in India. Yeah, this paper I presented during MarCon 2020 that happened in IBA here in Bangalore in January 2020. Yeah, so this has been a key milestone that I could achieve. When I'm talking about the milestones, I would like to mention about the Star in Me platform. Yeah, even though I could mention it in multiple areas, there is one place where I can record all these. Is the Star in Me platform. Yeah, thank you, Mahua and Uma, for creating such an awesome platform for all of us. From SLN Brand Studio, I have been having 4 different programs. One is personal branding quotient program. This is dedicated for corporate employees, right from freshers, mid-level to C-suite, under which CXO resume building, LinkedIn profile building, ghostwriting blogs, books, and all come. Second is SEBQ, Employer Branding Quotient Program. See, when we are talking about employer branding, it comes under marketing, right, in general. But personal branding of employees definitely adds value, huge value to the employer branding also. Yeah, I have a dedicated program for that. And then the third program is SVEP, Vision Execution Program. It is completely for the engineering and MBA students, B school students. And then SWCP is Women Contentment Program, which is very close to my heart, that I launched in 2015. Through this program, I have been helping the career growth of women who have taken a break. So, this is about me. Let me take you all through today's masterclass. So today, through this program, through this masterclass, I'll be taking you, we will start this by benchmarking your resume. Yeah, I hope you all have your, hard copy or the, the soft copy of your resume. We will be assessing where exactly you stand in the job market. When I say the job market, it also includes your organization. Okay, where exactly you stand in your organization when it comes to your growth, be it a promotion or the next role that you are aiming at. Then we will, throughout the program, I'll be covering the critical strategies to approach the job market. Yeah. And then the key fundamentals and techniques to build a winning resume, it will be there throughout the program. And then finally, I'll also cover how you can leverage your resume to build a brand so that your negotiation power during an interview, during any conversation goes high up. So that it becomes your career growth becomes a sustainable one. Yeah, you don't have to do it again and again. A single profile creation, resume creation process will help you to sustainably build your brand as well your growth. Mahua, we can run the first poll. Yeah, this information will help me to, take the content, the right content to you all. You just click on the...
Yeah, if all of you on Zoom can just click on the poll and we'll get a sense of the landscape of the audience today. All right, we have already received 70% of responses, a few more to go. Yeah. Good to see in just 40 seconds, we achieved 80% of the responses. Nice, only one category we do not have people, and we'll share the results. Right. Okay. 1 minute done. We'll just give a few more seconds and we will close this particular poll. I think we have a fair idea. We are nearing 90% of the voting. Some of you who have not done, just click, just takes a second. The question is, we would really like to know your years of experience. All right, let's close it. I'll just end the poll and we can share the results. Hope all of you are able to see the results, right?
Okay.
So, yeah. So we have 26% over 20 years experience, 15% between 16 to 20, 26% 7 to 15, and we have students without experience. I think fairly all the areas come.
Fantastic.
Only that. All right.
Fantastic. So it's a very nice blend, so that I can mix the content. The audience and students, and then the initial years of experience, they can gain a lot from the content that I'm going to share from the higher level, as vice versa. Yeah. So it is going to help the 15 plus or 16 plus 20 plus years of experience attendees to understand what exactly the bottom line and then the mid level are expecting in the industry, from the industry. Awesome.
Do you want to run the second poll?
Yes, please.
Okay. Stop sharing. This is the last poll for the day. We would like to know what's your current position in your organization. So are you team members? You are in your managerial level? Are you aspiring to be managers? Are you already senior or exec leader? We are really fast learners, now within 20 seconds, we got 70% responses. Amazing. Love it. All right. Few more. We're already crossed 80%. Just few more quick clicks and we should be able to close this. $50. We will just wait for 10 more seconds. So at closure of a minute, we will end this poll. 58, 59, 60, done. All right, so here are the results. So around 68% are, so managers and above. And in fact, 34% are exec and senior leaders. We have really small percentage of team members.
Okay.
And then aspiring to be members. So very, very good blend.
Fantastic.
So you, wow.
It's a beautiful blend. Yeah, okay. I think we need to close. Okay, I can't close it, right? Can I? Oh, okay. Okay, I have an access to close it. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. See, before before talking about resume, I would like to introduce 3 different career documents that we must be having, whether we are searching for a new job as a fresher, or in the job market, like with a few years of experience, or with more years of experience. We must have these 3 elements done. One is the resume, we all are aware of. LinkedIn profile, there is a myth among the students and then the freshers. Yeah, they think all these online portals like LinkedIn and all are for senior executives. It is definitely a myth. We all can have a LinkedIn profile. Okay, it's very important that we are all having a LinkedIn profile. And then cover letter. When we are talking about cover letter, it has become kind of old-fashioned right now. Still, I would highly recommend having a cover letter done. Keep it with you, because still there are certain organizations across the globe, they ask you to attach a cover letter. Whether you are sending a resume through an email or sharing it on an any common portal, they are asking you to attach it. In such scenario, you don't have to waste your time, because everything is agile now, right? We have to act really, really fast, right? So have your cover letter ready, just in case you don't come across any organization which is not asking for any cover letter. It will be easier for you when you are sending your email, when you are sending your resume in an email. Just copy some content from your cover letter, paste it over there. Yeah, so that you can be ready whenever somebody is asking for a resume. Yeah, so these 3 career documents are very, very, very important. Keep them ready. Keep your resume updated, LinkedIn profile updated, and then cover letter updated. Every 3 months, I would recommend you work on this again and again. Yeah, you have to reinvent yourself, reinvent your career documents. That reinvention can happen through these career documents. Yeah. One second. So right now, let's start with benchmarking your resume. I want you to have a look at your resume. If you have a printout with you, that's fine. You can have a pencil or pen with you. Or if you have a Word document, well and good. Now, as a first step, think of someone else. Yeah, not you. Think of someone else, a name, who has similar work experience, educational background, similar position you are in today. Yeah, just think of somebody. Instead of your name in your resume, have that person's name written. Now, read the document. Now, you are not reading your resume, whereas you are reading that person's resume, X or Y. Just glance it through. Look at the content. So you are reading somebody else's resume right now. Reading the content. Give some percentage to which the content below matches to that person. Give some percentage. It can be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah, assume it is done. If the content match 10 to 20% of content matches the other person, you can have a look at it just make some changes in your resume, in the content, wherever you see that, it is matching, it's okay. You can go ahead and then use your resume, okay? If it is 20 to say 45% matches the other person, you have to really work on the complete structure, redo your content, rewrite the content, start afresh. But you can use the same format. If it goes above 45 till 75, if the content 45 to 75% of content matches the other person, I would say throw it off. You have to do your resume completely afresh. Even the formatting, you have to give a complete new thought to your resume. Still, you can try doing on your own. If it goes beyond 75%, I would say better hire me. Don't attempt, because what will happen is you will end up wasting your time on building a resume without having the right, the context, the content, and then the user perspective. Yeah. Hope this exercise is done. So this is how you can benchmark your resume. Okay. The content is very, very important, which is going to get you that job. Let me quickly have a look at the chat window. Yeah. Any questions here?
Yeah, there are two questions. One is on how do we know if we replace our name with somebody else's name?
Yeah.
Then how do we know that content in our resume is matching with them? So what's the thought?
Okay.
That's one. Number two, could you explain what does matching the other person mean? It's similar question.
Okay,
Does it be unique to our own identity?
Yes.
Is that the meaning?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah, exactly. See, your resume should talk about you. Okay. When you are putting somebody else's name, I'm very sure you are using somebody else, kind of, their career journey, right? Where they have started, where they are in today. And then you are not using anybody's name who are up your level or low your level, right? It is kind of, it's like as if you are reading a resume of your peer, not your bosses or your subordinates. So here, the concept behind this exercise is your resume should talk about you, not about the roles that you have played in the organization. You are not creating a resume for the roles, right? You are not creating a resume to highlight what exactly happened in that organization, right? Your resume is completely yours. It is one big tool that you can use to position yourself better in the market. Your resume should help you to build that brand when you're sharing it with somebody. Yeah. So going forward, I'll help you to, crack a formula. I have a formula which I've been cracking for my clients. The same formula I'm going to, share here. You can use the same formula to build your resume. Yeah. Let me move on. So, yeah, this is the concept behind the exercise that I asked each one of you to do. You have to own your personal brand. Don't look at anybody else who will, back you up to build a brand. It should start from you. Own your personal brand. How can you own it? By creating authenticity in what you do. When I'm talking about that benchmarking test, right? When the resume, the content in the resume talk about you, that means you have already created authenticity. Yeah, if the content doesn't match anybody else, you are not able to map it for anybody else, that means you have already created authenticity in your resume. So here, I would like to quickly give an introduction to personal branding. My definition of personal branding here. Creating authenticity in what you do is what personal branding is. Why exactly we are doing it? To create the strategy, the identity. Yeah, when you are creating a personal branding strategy, that should help you to create an identity for you. Not for the role that you are playing, not for the name that you are having in your organization. Yeah. And then why do we need to do that? Why are we using a resume? To market us, right? To sell ourselves among competitions, right? So here, personal branding strategy, when you are executing that strategy, that should help you to market yourself really well. This, personal branding, the self-marketing here is the mindful effort to spread awareness of your brand identity. Personal branding strategy will help you to create identity for you. When you are doing it well as a part of your marketing strategy, you will be able to spread awareness on your identity. Yeah. So this concept I would like each one of you to keep in your mind, so that whenever I'm talking about resume, you should be able to map it really well. If you have any queries, please note them down. I'll take all the questions at the end of the session. Yeah. Once the presentation is done, I'll take the questions, because whatever questions that you are having, I may be covering it in the subsequent slides. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. 3 circles of information architecture defined by Lou Rosenfeld and Peter Marvel. Yeah, they have a book written on this. If you are really interested, after my presentation, if you are really interested, you can buy that book, read the content as well. I have been using 3 circles of information architecture in all my services, right from CXO resume building, LinkedIn profile, cover letter, any ghostwriting that I have been doing, be it a book writing or my coaching sessions, consulting sessions, training sessions, workshops. I have been using this for creating content for my presentations as well when I'm taking the knowledge to my clients. Yeah. The first circle starts with context. So here we have students here with and without work experience. We have mid-level, 1 to 6 years of experience, 7 to 10, and then 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and then 20 plus, right? If you look at it, you are in different phases in the industry, right? Couple of you maybe start applying for jobs right now, part of campus or off campus, looking for a job as freshers. Some of you are looking for promotion inside the organization. See, let's not worry about the VUCA scenario as if we are in right now. Let's not worry about the industry, because industry will definitely bounce back. Let's keep faith in the leaders. We will also do our best to support our leaders, support our organizations. Let's not worry about it. Yes, we are in a challenging situation right now, but definitely we, all of us together, we are going to bounce back. For the sake of learning during this session, I want all of you to keep the worries away. Let's focus on what exactly we should do, each one of you should do to move ahead in our career. When it comes to the job market, the industry, yes, it is kind of standstill right now, but it is not going to be the same going forward. Soon, we will have our job market open. We have to use this, the standstill period to prepare ourselves well. That is the reason I have job and industry here. We have to keep our mind and ears open, and keep tracking the job market. Yeah. Don't worry about what is happening right now, but keep your mind and ears open, eyes open, look at what is happening. Likewise, if you are when you are working in an organization, not only about your organization, how your organization is coping up with the situation, you also look at other organizations in your industry, how they are coping up with the situation, how they are trying to come out of the situation. Yeah. When you keenly start looking at all these things, you are going to assess, you will be parallelly assessing how the industries are working, how the job market is working, right? When you are keenly doing that, your confidence level is going to go up, because you will automatically start mapping your career growth. Yeah. When you are not doing all these, you will only be worried, you will only be scared, because you will be reading something, yeah, in general, some blogs you will be reading, then you will get scared, or you'll be talking to somebody, if they are if they have lost their job, of course they are going to put that negativity in you, right? But when you are doing that assessment in person, you will be able to balance your emotions well, because here balancing emotions are very, very important for you to, give focus towards your career growth. And then you see one term here, goal. Yeah. Right now, each one of you are going to set a goal, resume writing goal. Why you need a resume right now? Is it a fresh job, or you are going to change your career, completely from, say, it could be from educational, industry to the corporate, or entrepreneurship to corporate, or corporate to the other way. Yeah. You have to set a goal. You can write it down. Personally, you don't have to do it in the chat window, but you can write it down. This goal setting is very, very important. Why are you creating your resume right now? Promotion can be your goal, yeah, inside the organization. Client office. See, I have a term, written client office here. It could be that, you have, your organization is delivering something to a client where they are, reallocating you from the internal role to a client-based role, where you will be working for a client. Yeah. So that could be the reason for you. That could be your resume writing goal. Yeah. Set a goal. And here, resume and CV. Yeah. These two are two different documents. CV, curriculum vitae, is a detailed document which can go beyond 3 pages, 4 pages. This is mostly used by the research industry. Yeah, if you are a researcher, you can have a CV. If you are, going to apply for a job, which is kind of, research assistant or associate or something related to research or educational institutes. Yeah, if you're applying for a professor, job of a professor or a lecturer. Yeah, anything to do with educational industry and research, you can use CV. Resume, people who are working in any corporate, in any industry, we are not supposed to use the word CV, whereas resume. Even I see that HR professionals are using the word CV, which is not technically right. Politically, it is not right. Yeah, even though we all understand, but since you are all attending my session, I want you to understand the difference between resume and CV. And then, as I mentioned earlier, LinkedIn, cover letter, and see, I have mentioned the star in me here. Yeah. See, we are all talking about storytelling, right? Corporate storytelling. We can, tell stories. The stories normally, helps us to connect easily with other person, right? So whoever is there at the other side of the table, right? So Star in Me platform, especially, I'm very, happy to have my profile up in Star in Me platform, because it allows me to, create a story of all the journey that I have had so far. Yeah. So Star in Me, you can create a story. You can also have your LinkedIn URL, Star in Me URL mentioned in your profile. Yeah, in your resume or in your CV. Yeah. And then the cover letter I have already covered. So here, context is nothing but, we have to have these clarity before we start talking about the other circles. Yeah. So hope you all have set one goal why you are creating a resume now. Let me move on to the other circle. Here, normally the user, right? See, you see a couple of, people here, men as well, women. You also see some faces, right? So like that, we are going to have the initial screening done digitally. Yeah, before having any human interaction. So the faces here, only the faces that I have in my PPT, it resonates the digital medium that we are going to use going forward. So we have, if you look at it, there are 4 different people who can access your resume. We have to keep this in mind before we start talking about the content. Then, I have another, human touch here, reviewer and network. Why have I done that? Even I encourage my clients for whom I create a resume to get it checked by somebody, from their industry. Okay. So here we have to be very careful from whom we are getting our resume done. For example, recently, I think last year when I, did resume for one of the HR professional. Okay. she had a great weightage on employee engagement. Yeah, when it comes to employee engagement, conducting training sessions, conducting the outbound activities are very important for her, right? So I had highlighted those information in the executive summary. When she got that resume reviewed by someone, they asked her to put that, take that out from executive summary and then put it in some other corner. Then I asked her, okay, who was that person who reviewed her resume? Then she told me, you know what, he's a very senior person. He's a CTO sort of a role. Okay, who is doing not exactly C-suite, but very senior person who has, who has been working in the technical, side of the organization. People from the HR or functional background here, people from the technical background here, it is not easy for each one of us to understand the criticality of the other function unless until you have collaborated with them, right? So here what happened, the person who reviewed her document was not right. Okay, so it is very good that she spoke to me. Then I got it clarified. Then I asked her to have a discussion with that person also, so that when he is doing review for anybody else, he will have better idea on the context part of it. Yeah, this is the reason we have to have better clarity on the context. The first circle that we discussed so far. Yeah, so the reviewer and then the network, the people from your network, you have to be very careful when you are sharing your resume with them. Yeah, and then coming to the non-human perspective, which is digital medium and ATS, applicant tracking system. If you don't know, if you have not come across this particular word, I would like to take few seconds here to explain how this ATS works. When you are applying using a job portal or in an organizational website, right? Sometimes they ask you to share your resume, upload your resume in some online platform, right? It could be a common job portal or the company website. When you are doing that, your job is done. From the organizational perspective, what they do is, in that ATS, they will have a couple of keywords, with them. They use those keywords, plus there are certain other, criteria that they will be having. They use those criteria to check for the profiles. Unless until you have those, your resume meets those criteria, even though you have been performing really well, you are a top-notch performer, the probability of your resume reaching that particular organization, whoever HR or a project manager, is very low. So it is very important that you have some knowledge on ATS. Okay, I'll discuss about more about ATS later on, but I want you to note down this. Post this session, you can also do some research on this and understand how this works. Yeah, and then the bots. When I mentioned about digital screening, digital interview, I'll tell you how it is going to work. You will be uploading your resume. On the interview day, you will be getting a the URL where you'll be signing up and then logging in. Then there will be a couple of questions. It can be from the personal front, kind of a HR questions, as well the technical, the core questions for the job that you are applying. Okay, the questions can be taken from your resume also. Okay, as far as the questions are standardized, you have higher probability of winning that interview. Okay, but if bots are going to be involved, I'm sure if it is not done already, definitely with AI and all other technology coming up in across industry, bots will take over. What will happen when bots take over? From the answers that you are giving, the bots will ask further questions. So what does it mean? When you are facing digital interview, you should be prepared more than 100%. Okay, you should have complete understanding on yourself, that self-awareness part of it. And then whatever information that you have given in your resume, it should be authentic. See, this is where having a resume for you will help, instead of creating something for a role or for an organization. When it is about you, it will be easier for you to answer. right? When you're connecting your responsibilities with the organizational level impact, or how exactly you have helped your organization to grow, if the content is talking about it, whatever question these bots or the people throw, it will be easier for you to answer, right? Definitely, dress up well, right? We will, depending on what sort of role that we are going to play, we are applying for, we will have our executive presence done, right? Definitely that executive presence is very, very important to create that first impression. Definitely no degrading over there. It's very, very important. But how many of you would agree with me that by having that executive presence, you will be able to crack that interview and then negotiate well and then quickly onboard? I'm very sure none of you would agree with me, right? So executive presence will help you to build that first appearance, which is the best. But the interaction that you are having, the body language that you are having, the confidence that you are showcasing, that is what is going to help you to crack that interview, right? Similarly, when it comes to the resume, you can compare it with the interview, attending an interview. Resume at one side, attending an interview one side. It will help you to correlate how you should focus on the content. When we are talking about the content, appearance also comes under content. Yeah, images that you are creating, the photograph that you are having. See, nowadays we are all having selfie, right? But make sure your photo makes an eye contact. Okay, so that is one. When it comes to the look and feel of your resume, there is no need for too much of infographics, too many colors. Gentle and then elegance, right? See, when you are going for an interview, definitely you will not be putting up you will not do any overdo your face, right? You will have that gentle, then the elegance, that the luxury look of it, right? Similarly, the look and feel of your resume should be very clean, neat. It induces curiosity to read the content. Yeah, this is very important. There are so many templates available online. You can pick and choose. Don't use floral designs, even though you are a fashion designer or a interior designer, right? Don't use any floral designs or any other emojis or the smileys. Yeah, I have seen people using smileys as border, yeah, emojis as border, right? Or floral border. Yeah, please don't use any such thing in your resume. Keep it as elegant as possible. Yeah, elegant is the word here. And then you see keywords. Yeah, before talking about the other content, keyword is something that I would like to focus on. See, and then when it comes to the resume part of it, yeah, there are 4 different types of resume. Okay, so this combination resume, anyone can use it. Right from freshers, in fact, for freshers and then students, I highly recommend a combination resume. The difference here is, everybody, for all of you, you are going to start your resume either with a career objective or executive summary. For students and then the freshers, yeah, you will, after objective or executive summary, you will have your educational information, and then you are going to start working on your core capabilities. Yeah, for experienced professionals, right from 1 year till 20 plus, after executive summary, immediately you start talking about your core capabilities. Okay, under core capabilities, what you can do is the core capabilities, core achievements. You will start ahead with core achievements. Under core achievements, what you can do is the core capabilities which are important for your aspiring job. You can create 3-4 buckets. Okay, and again, I would like to take that HR experience. Okay, you have say 15 years of experience in HR function. Now that you are going to apply for a C-suite level, okay, or senior director HR. Okay, here you have to establish your HR experience in different areas, right? It could be HR strategy, and then the employee engagement, and then third can be leadership development. Yeah, how many leaders you have built in your 15 years of experience. and then the team management, right? This is just for an example I'm giving you. Likewise, you create some buckets on core capabilities. Immediately after executive summary, you are having core achievements. Under core achievements, you are going to have 4 buckets of core capabilities. Okay. Under the macro level buckets, you will start writing about what exactly have you achieved in your organization. Okay. No more about the responsibilities that you have taken care of. What exactly you have achieved. What are all the challenges that you have faced, during the entire career journey? How did you approach those challenges? Yeah. And then what exactly, at the functional level, what exactly have you achieved? And then the organizational level achievement. Yeah. See, this connection is something that I would recommend even people at the bottom level. When I say the bottom level, the employee level, yeah, the fresher and then the above level to consider. When you start looking at your role, the job that you are doing, connecting it with the team level achievement, then the organizational level achievement, you are going to look at your role, you are going to look at yourself differently. Yeah. See, this is the difference that I make when, in my client's life. Okay. When they undergo a process, they start looking at what exactly they are doing in their current role in a different perspective. They are able to map it along with team level achievement as well organizational achievement. Okay. Even a support employee, like people who are helping you, the securities, right? They create a huge difference in the organizational growth. Right? So I really want you to look at each and everybody in your organization and see how each one of them are contributing to your organizational growth. If you are already a leader, look at your the people who are under you. Yeah, they may be direct reportees. Under those direct reportees, there will be another layer, right? There is a structure, right? I want each one of you to see. Similarly, people at the bottom level, you understand the structure, the organizational structure that you are part of. You have a manager to whom you are directly reporting, and then that manager is reporting to somebody else, right? That somebody else may be having different people directly reporting. Then the organizational structure is something that I want each one of you to understand in your organization. When you look at everybody's contribution, each one of them in the bottom line, then the middle level, and then the the top level in that pyramid, you will start understanding the business itself. Yeah, your business acumen is going to go up. Business acumen is again one of the important 21st century skill that we have to have, especially in that VUCA scenario. VUCK, I'm pretty sure you all know about VUCA. If not, please note it down and then do some research, have some knowledge gained on that. Yeah. So this is very, very important that you are able to connect your role with the organizational growth. Whichever level you are in, everybody is contributing to the organizational level impact. Yeah, the growth. Now, again, coming back to the content. So three types of resume I already spoke about. And then the other one is mini resume. Okay. So mini resume, we don't use it anymore. It was there as a part of resume, type of resume long back when I started working as a resume writer, say 10 years back. Okay. So we are not using any mini resume going forward. But what you can do is you all can create one mini resume. Mini resume is nothing but a paragraph or two about you. Okay, what you have done. Right now, at this scenario, you can create one mini resume and use it for video resume. Video resume is nothing but you talking about yourself. You are taking a video where you are talking about yourself, say for from 30 seconds, 1 minute to 3 minutes. Okay, not more than 3 minutes, because all know that our attention span is really low. So within that 1 minute, how you are able to comprehend, how you are able to position yourself well, sell yourself well, market your capabilities well, is the challenge. Okay, that is where the mini resume will help. That is where you are going to use your comprehension, comprehend the word that I have mentioned here, this skill is going to help you. Yeah. At the end of this session, yeah, once, post session, I would, highly recommend each one of you to create one video resume also. What you can do is you can create one mini resume, write some content about you, and then, try voice recording first, and then you can take a video. Video selfie, will help you a lot in gaining confidence, looking at the screen, because, it's going to be digital going forward. You are going to meet people online. So you should know how to present yourself really well when you are interacting with somebody online. Okay. So the mini resume in the form of video resume will help you a lot. So the formatting and all I have already discussed. Now coming to the content structure. Okay. I am not going to mention the name of the entity. People who have been spending a lot on so many job portals to create their resume, when they approach me, I feel really sad inside, because people are really investing a lot when they are spending money and then time and effort when they are creating a resume. Okay, so it is I have a huge responsibility here to get them that help them to get that job. Okay, when I see that certain entities, when they are not having that responsibility, when they are not taking accountability, I feel very sad, because I don't have any control on them, right? Because those resumes are completely filled with adjectives. Okay, do you really think if I call myself as a superhuman being, you would be doing any business with me? Superhuman being or a superwoman, see, all these powerful adjectives will create that wow factor, right? But creating wow factor is not going to help you grow. Okay, it is going to in fact put you down. Okay, here please look at your resume. If you are seeing any adjectives there, please change them into action words. When I'm talking about action words, it's like achieved, okay, accomplished, collaborated. See, collaboration is an action word, right? So collaborated, cross-functional collaboration, collaborated with cross-functional teams, collaborated with cross-cultural teams. Okay, see, these terms are going to make your resume a powerful one. Definitely not even a single adjective will help you to create that as a power. See, we have to understand what exactly power resume is. Okay, when we are talking about power, it is not superpower. It is about the action that you have taken. Yeah. See, when you are attending an interview, the interviewer is going to look at the way you are, talking about yourself, how you have managed some challenge in your previous organization, right? What sort of approach that you have taken? Okay, how exactly have you helped your organization to grow, right? By taking care of the responsibilities for the role that you are playing, right? See, they are looking for an action. So your resume should have action words, definitely not adjectives. So the second benchmarking that you are going to do is look at adjectives, change into action words. And then again, creatives, infographics, and then the video. Yeah, video resume I have already covered with mini resume. Creatives and infographics. As I mentioned, see, now I want you to recall the users that we discussed. Okay, see, for example, you are applying for a mid-level role in a new organization. Depending on the organizational size, see, for example, if it is a startup, right, chances of that startup having a single HR person to screen your resume is higher, right? That single person can be somebody who is really fresher, okay, who doesn't have well experienced to really understand what exactly you have written in your resume. Okay, normally what happens when that HR is reviewing your resume, they would have they may be having a certain keywords, right? They will be mapping your resume with those keywords. If those keywords are there, then they are going to shift your resume to the next table, right? So here, why organizations are having, for example, the startups are having a HR person, because it is not easy for see, when we are talking about a startup, I'm talking about a very small startup, okay, where only 2-3 people team. Okay, so they will be focusing on building a business for them, right? That is the reason they are employing somebody to do all the screening, initial screening and all, right? You are having an infographic, right? Here, having a complex infographic will make or break. Here, the probability is 50-50. If the HR person or whoever is looking at the resume, as a first screening level, if they don't understand the infographics, but they are attracted, they are going to pass your resume to a next level, right? Where you are creating 50% chance of pushing your resume to a next level. It can happen the other way also. Yeah, if they don't understand the infographics, see, now we have to have that empathy in place. We have to make things easier for the other person who is sitting at the other side of the table. Yeah, here, just assume that one HR person is looking at 50-60 resume in a day. Okay, in the startup environment, they are pushing 30 resume to the next level. Okay, none of the resume pass through the next level. So what is going to happen? Whoever is sitting there in that next level, they are going to put a stringent process for the HR person, right? It is going to affect the HR person's performance, right? So what will happen here? To safeguard herself or himself, if they don't understand the infographics in your resume, they are going to put it in the dustbin, the trash bin, right? So make sure whether having an infographics is important for your role. If at all, if you are having one, make sure it is as simple as possible. Okay, you don't have to prove your, the design, capability in your resume. Okay, here, keep it as simple as possible. The sentence structure should be as simple as possible. Don't write any complex sentences here. Yeah, so this is what content is about. Okay, once the resume is done, so we have covered the look and feel part of it. We have covered the content structure part of it, how the formatting should be there, as well the content structure part of it, the keywords part of it, the infographics part of it, right? So this is the overall coverage on the content. And one more information that I would like to give here. TQM, I'm calling it as TQM, Total Quality Management. Okay, once your resume is done, keep it. Don't look at it for say another few hours, unless until it is very important. You have to push your resume to the other person. Always ask for time. Okay, always ask if you can share your resume after some few hours. Yeah, once you are done, close it. Completely focus on something else. Watch a movie, watch something on Netflix, or listen to some music. Go for some workout. Yeah, hit the gym. Do something completely different from the organizational work thing. Okay, come back, refresh yourself. If you are hitting a gym or if you have done any workout, refresh yourself. Yeah, don't look at your resume when you are tired. Okay, the TQM, Total Quality Management, you have to do it when you are completely fresh. Normally, I do it when I'm working on my client's project as well. That's the reason I set my SLA based on that. Okay, if I'm working on say 3-4 resume in a day, I don't send it as is. Okay, between 2 different resume, I take a break, because I would have worked on somebody else's resume, then completely relearn, and then unlearn, and then when I'm working on somebody else's resume, take a complete break and then do it. When I'm doing it, I'm able to easily shift my focus. No, I will shut it down. Watch something. In fact, I am one Suits fan. Okay, I watch something on Suits, or some Tamil movie, or something else, or listen to some nice music. I also dance. Yeah, I learn Kathak. Then I try something. Yeah, completely different. Something that I do for half an hour, and then I start looking at the resume. Likewise, once I am done the draft version, I don't send it immediately. I keep it rest. When I wake up in the next morning, when my mind is fresh, then I look. Then I kind of get some new mistakes. I find some new mistakes. Okay, so this is very, very important when you are working on your resume. Completely close it, shift your focus, come back, refresh, in a calm mind, look at your resume. Now look at the format, look at the colors. Is it really, do you really like your resume? If you like it, definitely the other person liking it the quotient you are, kind of elevating the likability quotient here. And then the second thing, work on the content structure. Read each and every line which is written in your resume. Ensure it is written about you, not about the responsibility, not about the role, not about the organization. It is talking about what you have done in your previous organization or the capabilities that you are taking, on the table. Yeah. So check everything, and then, check the content structure. Is it, check the readability. If you are okay, you can invest on, Grammarly or any such tools also. When you run, I run all my resume through Grammarly, okay, which helps me to kind of identify the, readability, the ease of, reading in case of any passive. Generally, I don't use any passive voice. Okay, if I have used any, unknowingly, it, picks and, shows off. So all these things you can check grammar. Yeah. Don't send your resume. See here, I want you to, wear perfectionist glass. When you are reviewing, when you are doing TQM, total, quality management, you should have your, perfectionist glass done. I do that. Yeah. Then convert that into PDF. Don't send any Word document to anybody, because you know that different formats are there, and especially if you are using MacBook, yeah, don't send the Pages version. Yeah, convert that into PDF and then send it across, because the recruiter, they may not be having the format that you are having, the version that you are having. What happens? The look and feel of your resume may go awry. Yeah. So we be very careful. Convert that into PDF. Beyond everything, I mentioned about you can have 2 different resume for 2 different roles. At the same time, you should tweak your resume based on the role that you're applying. Okay. Every time, read the job description, map it with your resume, look for any missing information. Yeah. See, now, in fact, instead of using the word read, I would like to use the word study the job description. Okay, which will help you to thin slice the information, map it with your resume, whatever is missing, update it, save the Word file, convert into new file, then send it. And then the file name is very, very important. Always have your full name, in your file name, and then probably for the job that you are applying, you can have your full name and then the job as file name, send it across. Yeah. And when you are sending it in an email, make sure the cover letter is done well. When I'm talking about the cover letter, the email content, the content that you are writing in an email, it has everything in place. Yeah. Never ever send a resume without any content in your email. Yeah. So that's about it as far as the content is concerned. So this is the circle. If you look at it, there is a connection with the context, user, and then the content. Yeah. It's very important that you follow this formula when you are creating a resume. And then quickly, I would like to take you through how can we connect our resume to personal branding. Here, we have already discussed a lot on authenticity. Yeah, now what authenticity means in your resume. And here, purpose. Okay, when we are talking about purpose, there are 2 different elements here. One is the psychology or the philosophical, aspect of purpose. What is the purpose of you doing a job in the new organization? Okay, make sure you have that purpose reflecting in your executive summary as well, the goal that we set, right? So what is the purpose of sharing that resume? Here, you will have that context, user, these 2 circles incorporated in that purpose. Then the value proposition. Value proposition, you can connect it with the benchmarking test that we did. It should talk about you. Beyond creating authenticity, value proposition is nothing but the difference that you are making compared with your peers. Yeah, among your peers, the competitive advantage that you are creating using your resume, which is very important in your personal branding. So how can you do that? You may not know what your competitors are bringing on the table, right? So how can you do that? By mapping your responsibilities with the team level achievements, and then the organizational level achievement. When you do that, when you are bringing in that authenticity, automatically you are creating a value proposition. Again, look and feel also adds value here. Okay, not having complex, colors, complex infographics, overdoing the, cosmetics part of it will help in creating that value proposition. And then the delivery. When I'm talking about the delivery, TQM, total quality management, convert that into PDF. Remember to tweak it for each and every job that you are applying, even though you have one resume talking about one particular role. Tweaking is very, very important. So these 4 boxes will definitely help you to crack that interview. I mean, first getting that interview call quickly, crack that interview, then you can onboard. Yeah. In fact, here, without mentioning the name, I would like to, talk about one experience, where the client, woman Mahua, they connected that client with me. Okay. See, we met on, we discussed on one Saturday, and then on Sunday, the same Sunday, the next day, I had shared the questionnaire. Yeah, see, before talking about it, let me quickly take you through the process that I do for my clients. First, I ask my clients to, give their resume and then the, couple of JDs for the future roles. Once I have that, I sit and prepare a questionnaire. I use three different elements. One is JDs. I do in-depth research on similar JDs. Then I do in-depth research on the roles. Then the third element is my experience. See, I've been doing this for the past 10 years. Yeah, CXO, resume writing and all, right? I use that. These 3 elements, combining these 3 elements, I create a questionnaire and then send it to my client. Then they respond back. Based on those responses only, I create my documents, career documents. Yeah, the first document I call it as a master document, where we focus on the content. Once we freeze that content, then I deliver the resume, a target resume or a chronological, depending on the role that they are applying, the personality of my client. So recently, luckily before lockup started, I did one resume for one person, very senior person. We met on Saturday. Sunday, I shared the questionnaire with her. Monday, she gave it back. By Wednesday, we had all 2 different resume, one LinkedIn profile, cover letter, everything ready. She applied for the job. On that Sunday, the subsequent Sunday, within a week, she got an interview call. She attended an interview. Okay, this is from one place to another. Luckily, by God's grace, this happened before lockup. She could travel, attended an interview. Within 3 days, she got a role confirmed, her job confirmed. Okay, she's in a very senior suit. She applied for a C-suite role. Everything happened within 2 weeks. See, this could happen because of the collaborative effort that we all could do. Yeah, not only me, the client. She quickly worked on that responses questionnaire. Okay. So, it is very, very easy for you to crack that interview. I mean, getting that interview call, crack that interview call when you focus on creating your resume from personal branding viewpoint. When you are creating an authenticity, when you are having a right purpose, when you are focusing on, having a value proposition, and then the delivery, the perfectionist, glass part of it, right? When you address these 4, nobody can stop you from growing. Yeah. So all the very, very best here. So, I'm sure many of you would, have read this, right? During your school days. Robert Frost ka road less traveled, right? So we are in similar, situation, today. So there is a herd which goes, takes one path, right? We are supposed to take the road less traveled, so that we can bring in all our creativity, innovativeness in whatever we are doing, right? We don't have to degrade anything, evaluate anything, right? I wish all of you take that, road less traveled or the other path, but you reach your destination well, yeah, with the smoother, path.
Thank you. Thank you, Shubha. Fantastic. You covered, especially I love the structure that you put in from the book. and it's so important. And you've deeply covered all the elements, but we have a lot of questions. We just have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Not sure how many we are able to cover in the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
We might extend by 2 more minutes. And
Sure.
I did mention without asking you that if we are unable to respond to the questions here,
Okay.
we will get back to them within a day
Sure.
to all. But let's take maybe 2 or 3 questions.
Sure.
Uh,
Definitely.
from the Q&A part, so there's a question saying, for those who are more than 20 plus years of experience, what is the maximum number of pages a resume should have? What's the
Okay.
ideal scenario?
Okay. Fantastic. See, irrespective of years of experience, if you can cover everything within a page, awesome. Nothing like it. Okay, but there is no hard and fast rule that we should have one-page resume, even though it has been kind of running around, right? But definitely not more than 2 pages. When I'm talking about 2 pages, first page should definitely highlight all the capabilities that you are taking on board, to the table. The second page can have the static information like work experience, education, certification, and all other stuff, but definitely not more than 2 pages.
Great, great, great. The second question is, I think we all are in a situation where it's survival of the fittest. So how do we stand out from our peers? So the question is, what are some of the strategies for identifying your value proposition so that we set ourselves apart from our peers, especially when we are trying to look for C-suite roles?
Okay, awesome. See here, there are 2 elements that I would like to share. One is people inside the organization, in your organization, right? When you're assuming, it is like aspiring C-suite, right? Or already in C-suite.
No, aspiring C-suite from a senior level.
Okay, good. See here, you already have some people, in C-suite, right? In your organization. You should start looking at them in a different perspective. Okay, if they are really successful, you don't have to keep have them as role models, but I would say sort of shadow them in your mind. You don't have to do it in action, but shadow them in your mind. Completely observe what are the things that they are doing. That will help you to kind of pinpoint the success factor. Okay, how exactly they are succeeding. Here you have also seen, even though you are in a position where you are aspiring C-suite, to reach the level you are in today, you would have had n number of strengths that you have used, right? List them down, compare that. Okay, definitely you will be able to figure out 2 or 3 strengths which are unique to you. See, for example, communication. Okay, C-suite communication. When we are talking about C-suite communication, not that everybody will have that interpersonal strength, right? If your communication is unique, you have to give a name. Okay, it can be emotional communication, okay, or it can be stakeholder communication. Instead of using communication skill in your resume, you can use the word stakeholder communication. Okay, not that everybody is using that. Okay, this is just an example. Likewise, you have to identify the common skills, capabilities, and then give them a unique name, connecting with your personality. And then the second is your leadership style. Okay, that will give you an edge. What type of leadership skill that style that you are showcasing in your organization, right? Highlight that. Ensure that is relevant to the the industry that you are part of. See, for example, in telecom industry, right? I normally give this as an example in all my sessions because it is easier for people to relate to. In telecom industry, changes are happening like every minute, right? The C-suite people are expected to be really aggressive. So here, strategy will help, your thought leadership will help, but somewhere you have to connect that aggressiveness. Yeah, if you are an aggressive leader, you have to connect it. Having servant leadership may not work well. Okay, so you have to compare that leadership style with the industry that you belong to or you are aspiring for. This is one strategy that you can try.
Good one. Yeah, I like the analogy between, depending on the industry, how do we have to ensure uh, our proposition is kind
Yes.
of lined with it.
Yes. Yes.
We just crossed 31. You want to talk about this? We have a lot of questions, I know, on the chat, which we couldn't answer. We have noted all of them down, and by tomorrow, we are going to respond back to the entire group who has attended with responses to those 7 questions
Sure.
which I've noted down. So don't worry about it. Do you want to talk about this for a minute, Subha? The one on this.
Yeah, definitely. So see, I've been working with clients across industries, across level of different level of experiences on creating their resume, LinkedIn package, LinkedIn profile, as well cover letter. Okay, so people who have attended here, yeah, as a part of Thanksgiving from my end, this is an opportunity for me to interact with each one of you. I would like to extend an offer, special offer. If you are willing to take resume and LinkedIn package, I'll be doing cover letter for free. I'll be waiving the cover letter fee. You can use SLNTSIM as a code. Yeah, you can reach out to Mahua or Uma or me, but you have to use this code. Yeah, so that I identify, I relate it with you who have attended this session. Yeah, so this is something you can take a screenshot of the screen also. If you forget the code, we can publish this in our forum also, platform also, Mahua, if you want.
Yeah, we can do that. Thanks a lot, Subha. Preeti, you're on still?
Yes, I am. Nice.
So
I
thank you,
almost
Sukrit.
got worried and I said I need to redo my resume now.
Oh, yeah. Great session. These are so important topics, and I think we lose on a lot of aspects which you covered. We kind of see it from the surface and do not go deep into it. So thank you, Subha. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Next few days, we will have the session on the platform.
Sure, definitely. Thank you so much, Mahua, Sukriti, Uma, for this opportunity. Really, really, great hours spent with each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.